As we continue our updates on this channel on the migration crisis in this country, we discover that a number of local authorities are building new homes for the illegal migrants, but not our own British homeless. All right, this is absolutely outrageous. Earlier today, we gave you some update on the latest stats and figures on the border crisis and also what happens when they are here in terms of the migrant crisis, housing crisis, and the financial issues around it. We told you guys that with the new arrivals, you need to build a new home every 5 minutes, day and night, just to be able to help with the capacity of the new migrants, let alone our own people who are waiting to get a house, and let alone the people who are currently homeless, and young people who want to buy a house. That aside, they discovered that this issue is reaching various areas. Basildon, they have now spent, and as you can tell, the local authorities' budget is smaller than the national government's budget, so £2.4 million is a lot. They spent £2.4 million of local residents' money to build new homes for migrants in Basildon. And they expect the same people, local residents in Basildon, to continue to vote for the same councillors. And the council officials, because they're not elected, they don't care who's going to be in charge because they just implement the same policies over and over again. But it doesn't just apply to Basildon. This problem reaches every authority, many local authorities around the country. Let's talk about another example, for example. Let's talk about Southend-on-Sea City Council. Now, Southend in Essex, they have now recently built 12 new homes for migrants. So big homes so that many migrants could go in. The 12 new homes. So, two issues. This proves that politicians, nationally or locally, especially local councils, can build homes. They can build houses. These are the same councils that say, well, we can't build houses, right? You know, some people would say, oh, well, we have a housing crisis. But you can build houses. But you don't care about our own people, especially the homeless. You wonder why? Because I have my theory about this, because we got homeless people. Of course, there are still a big chunk of the homeless people who are actually themselves illegal migrants. And they don't have documentation. So that's different. But we're talking about those who are actually British and they have the national insurance. So they have some sort of problem, of course, and not everybody is addicted, have some sort of addiction. There are people who fall into short-term crises in life and it happens. But they don't care about them because in the mentality of the political class, they don't vote. So why should we care? Surely we care. We are compassionate people. We are politicians. We are public servants. But there's no urgency because there's no grassroots campaign for homeless people, British homeless people. There is no voting bloc that would scare those politicians. If they don't sort out the problem for them, then they're going to vote against us. No, that is one big issue, of course. Now, former councillor Pat Rackley said that we have people in Basildon who are homeless. I know lots of families in Billericay have taken in refugees, and I know it's a very difficult issue. I think it's a real catch-22 issue, and we have lots of people supporting others who are going through tough times. There are lots of people living in Basildon who need help and support, and I can really see both sides of the argument about this. Now, I fully get it. And this person, she's not some sort of leftist, but like in terms of like liberal left-wing. But again, even that statement is very on the fence. It's very politically correct. It's very diplomatic. But we need more robust language to make sure. I'm not talking about hatefulness. We're not talking about hate. We're actually talking about robust language to make sure that we put pressure on the establishment to do something about this. Because when you look at the data that we've been showing you repeatedly on this channel, the latest numbers, compare, this is about the migrants being detected in small boats in the English Channel since 2018. And by the way, so you can see the rate has gone up massively. 2018 is only 292. 2022, 46,000. Look at the contrast. But this is, by the way, just those who are detected. Because a lot of them, if the border force or RNLI aren't there to catch them, to bring them, to escort them to the shores, then they just completely come in and get lost in the system. So that definitely the number is much higher than this. Now, 2023, we've already had 2,517, and it's only February. It's only in the second month, and we've already exceeded 2018 and 2019, and it's getting closer to 2020. And if the trend continues this year, the figures will be over 2.5 times than it was in 2022. Like, this is not really some sort of little problem. This is a complete crisis, but not just in terms of demographics, not just in terms of national security, but on a very basic level, housing crisis, and the ability for the government to technically have its safety net that is supposed to be providing help for British people. That's not even happening anymore because we can't. We have too many new arrivals. So the issue hits very different areas at the same time, but no one is willing to actually do something robust about it. Now let me know what you think. I'm Mahyar, Tousi, and we are the media.